morning, students. Today we are going to learn a new topic about a new topic. Now, before we enter in the topic, just we see a topic. We should know about the tales. We should know about the tales. So now, what are the tales? What is the meaning of tales? Tales means it has a particular origin. It has no particular origin or author. These tales have been passed on orally in many cultures from one generation to another. Before they were eventually written down, each generation of oral communication tends to add exaggerations and morals of all kinds of the stories. Folk tales may also include talking animals, magical creatures, royalty, or anything in order to entertain the listener. Folk tales generally have a contradictory messages or moral. Little Red Riding Hood is an example of one of the such a folk. Here, folk tales means it is not a particular origin of the author. It will not be any other writer or any writer is writing the tales. So maybe it is a saying of the elders, some moral values saying, some stories, they will create and tell. These are the tales we will tell. But in the tales there is a moral and it also will be message to the people. So these are the tales. If you like the tales, so today we are going to name a tale about a tale. It is a saying, but it is not a true. It is saying, but it is not a true. That's it. Only it has a particular origin is not there. From where it came from, who written, no origin, no author, no writers for this. So we learn about like this a story, a tale of the story. So before we enter in the story, first we should know the topic. The chapter 15, the topic is how lightning was made. How lightning was made. So this is a Kasi flock tales. It is a Kasi flock tales. It is a Kasi flock tales. Then in this story there are some characters. In the story there are some characters. So before we enter in the story, first we should learn the characters. Then you can understand easily the story. It's a small story, okay? Now you see that characters, you buy that, as I like, you buy that, the thunder giant, then Cookie, the Lennox, other animals, Cookie and the Lennox and other animals. So now first two you should know these are the characters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, means all together 5 characters are there in the story. So we enter in the story. Now story begins in the early days of the world when the animals used to fraternize, means from friendship with someone, especially when he is not supposed to. So here what happened means in the olden days, in the early days, there was a gathering for the people. Manship means all the people. They will gather, mankind. They try to, what they will do, they will come and what they will do. In the beginning of the world, when animals could communicate with the mankind. The beginning of the world, the animals could speak with the mankind. The animals will speak with the mankind, means with the people. The animals can speak with their own languages. So animals can understand their languages. That was the story of the beginning. And there used to be great festival that was held once in every 13 moons. Means every 13 days there was a meeting for whom? For all the mankind. For all the mankind means for all the people. In the early days, every 13 days there is a festival. There is a festival. There is a feast celebration. In the feast celebration, what they will do? Where the greatest or strongest and most handsome men dance. the sword dance and compete in archery. So here in this festival, what here they will do, the people, they will do the handsome and a beautiful man will dance. With what? With sword. Sword means with a knife, big knife. Sword means a big knife that I will show you in the textbook. There is what is the sword. This is the sword. See, this is called the sword. This is called the sword. So with this they will dance. The handsome man will dance in the festival. Handsome man will dance in the festival. When he will dance every month, 13 days after they have a gathering. So in that gathering, in this feast celebration, he will dance with this sword. And competent in archery, they will be competent. The younger animals clamored for a festival for their own, and the elders agreed to fix the date for the great feast. Now what happened here? So these animals also coming to see this feast or this festival. So these younger animals, younger generation animals, they thought one idea. They thought, we also can do a feast. We can also celebrate a feast. So we also can gather together and celebrate a feast. So these all the younger animals will speak to each other, and they will go to their elders and will tell. So we also can celebrate the feast. We all the animals can gather and celebrate a feast also, like a humankind, like a human beings or like a people celebrating. We also can celebrate a feast. So these all the young animals gathered and went to speak with their elders, with their elder peoples, big people. So they went to speak with the elder people or their big people, and they agreed, means they accepted that to celebrate the feast. To celebrate the feast, they accepted. In the thunder-chained python was sent out to someone, everyone to the festival. So here, now the characteristics comes here now. Python was sent out to someone, everyone to the festival. So here, he was the thunder-chained. The thunder-chained is the thunder-chained. He was the Python. The name of the thunder chain is Python. The name of the thunder chain is Python. So he went with everyone. There was a huge drum, train out, each with his weapon of war or musical instrument according to what he decided to do at the festival. So here all went to the feast with each one their own instruments. So for example, I want to play the keyboard, so I went with keyboard. Someone used to play the tabla, so they went with the tabla. So like that, everybody went with their own instruments to celebrate the feast. Every animals are there, so every animals went to celebrate feast with their own instruments. So now here what happened? One musical instrument according to what decided at the festival. So here Youth Island went to everybody. Then now here what happened here? Just you see, Yuki and the Linux arrived brandishing silver sword that he had procured with difficulty. So Yuki the Linux. Here the Yuki is the Linux. Yuki the name, and the name of the Linux is the Yuki. The name of the Linux is the Yuki. So now here the Linux went with the sword. He went with the sword. And he danced gracefully, and all the applause he received made him proud. So now here he played the sword dance. So all were happy and they all clapped and they all are enjoyed with his dance. With dance. The beginning I told her, see, you Python went to invite all the people with the drum, big drum. He went to invite all the people, means all the animals. He went to invite for the feast with the big drum. Okay, now we are seeing, now the Lennox went with the soul with the feast. So when he went in the feast, what he did with the soul, he danced and all the animals appreciated him and all clapped him. All clapped him. And what happened then again? Then initially the feast by hiding so then when he received claps and everything, you Python wanted to try at the sword that he initially refused by hiding his sword. So now these you Python went to ask Yuki, give that sword, I will try my best to do that. But here what he did, Yuki did not give to him and he is hiding the backside. He is hiding the backside like this, hiding the backside the sword. So he did not give. But when everyone said he was discourteous to guest, he gave in Python, brandished the sword so rapidly and beat the drum so hard that everyone was dazzled and fled in the fear. So when he refused to, all the animals told to the Yuki, you give to Python that knife, that sword, give to that sword to the Python. But all the guests told him. He gave it. Then you Python brandished the sword so rapidly and beat the drum so hard. So he took the sword and means he is not safe and securely he played with the sword. He was so hard and rudely he was playing, and he beat the drum also so loudly and so soundly he beat the drum. So all the people saw this and frightened and feared. All the animals ran away from that festival. All the animals went away from that festival. Why here this new Python was took the sword and the drum with the drum sound making more sound. So all got frightened and they ran away from the place. And fled fear, the earth shake. So because of the fear, animals ran and the earth also shaking. In the confusion, you Python leapt to the sky with the Yuki's sword in hand. So in this confusion, what happened? This Yuki leapt with the sword in hand. He went, you Python leapt to the sky with the Yuki's sword. So now Python went to the sky in his hand. Sword is there. With his sword he went up. Whose sword that one? Yuki's sword was that. So he took with Yuki's sword. Python took the sword of Yuki and he went to the sky. And he's still seen there brandishing his sword and beating his drum. He's still on the sky also. He's brandishing, he's playing with the sword and he was playing the drum. While many call that lightning and thunder, ancient Kashis know that it is only the stolen sword of the Linux. So it was the stolen sword. The sword was the Linux. Sword took by the Python. So now the lightning thunder means because of the anger of the Python, he went to the sky and he was making the sound with the sword and the drum. That we call the lightning or thunder. When the raining season comes, the lightning and thunder. Because of that, the lightning and thunder came. Because of the anger of the Python, he was playing the drum and sword in the sky. So because of that, this Kashi's folk tales are telling that because of this angry, he was lightning lightning and thunder. Meanwhile, Yuki says close to his home, raining a mud in the hope that one day he will be able to climb the mud and overtake the giant Python and seize his silver sword once more. So now, when this thunder and lightning comes, the raining comes. When the lightning and thunder comes, raining comes. No? It will rain. When it will rain, now here the Yuki is telling that you close the doors and everything. You come inside, we will be inside. One day we can, now mud and everything will come out. Now we close everything. But one day we will climb up to go up and we can see the silver sword there. So, Python seized his silver sword once more. So, whenever this Python seized the silver sword and the drum, thunder and raining comes. Thunder and lightning comes. Thunder and lightning comes. Here, how lightning was made. That means, for example, because of the story, now you understand this saying. It is not a original. It is not a reality. Okay, this is only folk tales. It is not a reality, but it is a saying of the elder people. Because of the angry of the Python, he took the sword of the lens and he also having the big drum. With this drum and the sword, he was making the sounds. That sound is called the lightning and thunder. That sound is called the lightning and thunder. When the lightning and thunder comes, it rains. So, like this, the lightning was made. Like this, the lightning was made. That is the story to understand. Okay, and then you can see the theme of the story is natural phenomena. It is folk tale that tries to explain the origin of the lightning and thunder. Only it won't explain about the lightning and the thunder to the people, how the lightning and thunder came. Okay, that is the intention of this, how lightning was made. This is the story. You know now the characteristics of just you see. Python is a animal. Then he was called also thunder giant. He was called the thunder giant. Yuki the Lennox. The Yuki is called the Lennox. Then other animals. Okay, these only the characteristic in the story. So these are the animals. These animals all gather for the feast. When they gathered for the feast, there was a Lennox old man came. Means all animals are coming with their own instruments to play the feast. So here the Python came with the drum. Then Lennox came with the sword. So when the Lennox came and played with the sword, all people were happy and gave him clap. This is the Lennox with the sword. Okay, see animals. All people clapped and happy. But here the thunder he came with the giant thunder came, or Python came with a drum to play. All appreciated him. So he got angry. He was jealous. And he asked the sword of the Lennox, I need it. But he did not give. But all the elders told him, give once. So he gave. Then that time, with angrily, the sword also so beautiful to see. He angrily, he took the sword and he played with the drum also, he beat it so it sounded. So all people, all animals ran away. Then the earth was shaking everything. So with this knife, with this drum and with this sword, he went to the sky. In the sky also he was making more noise, beating and playing. So that is called the lightning and thunder. It is called the lightning. Because of angry, he made the lightning and thunder. Okay, this is the story. This is the story of this. So here, page number 140, there is a true or false. Then vocabulary. And the grammar exercise and listening skills. These are the exercises in the chapter. Okay, so this is the story. This is a small story. You can understand the. I no need it. I need only to know the what is the summary, how the lightning was made. Okay, that only I want to make you to understand.